We say what they can't radio.
What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Young, Gifted and Black. Tonight, I got my brothers on the show, and tonight's topic is Black economics. I've been thinking about this over the last couple of weeks, so I really wanted to have some people on this show that could talk about it. So I asked my brothers if they come on. Dray is a co-owner of this radio show that I'm actually on, so I appreciate his presence. But introduce yourself, my brother.
Well, first of all, you didn't really ask me. You told me. He's like, yo, what you doing tomorrow, yo?
Absolutely.
I need you to come on the show tomorrow.
I was kind of aggressive.
I was a little nervous. You was a little aggressive.
My fault, bro.
Yeah.
I just really wanted you on the show, bro.
It's not fair. You know I can never tell you no.
I appreciate it.
Some people call me Dre. Some people call me Rock. CEO of this thing right here called We See What They Can't Radio, and I'm just happy to be here.
Absolutely, I'm happy to have you. Next to on my left side, I got one of my best friends, my brothers from another mother. It's been like your second or third time on this show. Introduce yourself to the people.
What's going on? It's Mello. Melly's Bro on Instagram, you know. People know how me and K tight. I caught the same vibe you caught. He like, yo, you ain't been on the show in a while, bro. Nah, I mean, it ain't too much topics that I can't touch. So he like, yo, I'm talking about black economics. I said, all right, I see you there.
Mel been up here like 5 times,
I've been
and
up
he
there.
actually brought us the show as well.
Yes. Got the link to the show.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We ain't gonna give it the name, but he.
Yeah.
Nah, that's a blessing.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny though. About a year ago, he asked me. He had got invited to a podcast, and he asked me if I wanted to come be a guest with him. And leaving that podcast, it kind of initiated me connecting with you and starting my own podcast.
They turned me down, so I asked him if they wanted to start one. I'm still waiting for a response.
No, he was in there. He was in their podcast, right?
Yeah.
So after that, he like, yo, man, I really want to do a podcast. I'm gonna ask. He asked you to do how much? I said, yo, my man. We gonna holler at Pyro Rock. He's like, nah, we here now. Cause he don't know y'all. So he like, yo, we here now. I need
Oh,
to
wait,
know,
so
I
that's
need to know how
two.
much it costs. Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
he
I'm
got
saying.
his two shows?
I got 3. I'm 3 in right now. I'm 3 in. I'm behind closed doors on one of them too. I'm 3 in.
Okay,
But
we
you
been
know,
so it's-
that's what I'm saying. The situation ain't really situated the right way. But like I'm
Alright,
saying, we
cool,
was up there.
cool,
He like,
cool.
yo, I said, nah, I got my peoples. He like, yo, I'm telling you. I said, yo, my man, they in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I got my peoples. And then
Right up
from
the
there-
block.
Right, exactly.
Right up the block.
That's we was gonna check y'all up the hill.
Right.
Could've been
Over there. Yeah, you're
That's what I'm
right.
saying from back then.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So it's a blessing. I thought about black economics because I feel like just with everything that's happening with gentrification, everything that's happening in different communities around the world, you see a lot of people of color suffering, whether they can't, pay the rent because it's too high, whether they can't, they don't have enough money for a down payment of the house, or they don't understand just the mindset needed for you to, make those leaps in the real world. So I wanted to talk about black economics. One of the first questions that I have is what does black economics mean to you? You can answer. Either one of y'all could go first.
Yeah, Mel,
Black economics is now we're talking about the standard for the people as far as like black economics. But when we really talking about black economics, we're usually on the losing side of that because statistically, we are not in the 10% and the 20%. Some of us got like Jay-Z, billionaire and all that, but it's not that many of us there. So black economics could be anything. It could be poverty. It could be somebody that's just getting by, living check to check, or, earning minimum wage, or actually killing it and making 200, 300,000. But as far as black economics as a whole, there's so many different pieces to that puzzle that we don't understand. And the miseducation of us, it comes into this big bubble. And then if you don't go in there and get yours, everybody, because sometimes you watch somebody else doing something, and then you're like, yo, I'm trying to get that. I need this, I need that. And instead of going out there and making a play for yourself.
right. I agree with what he's saying. It's like
I agree.
a lot of people don't even know what it is because it's like we was never taught. So what was we passed down? We were fucking bad credit from my mom's putting a phone bill in the name in our name. So it's tough. We just we just gotta learn as we go from people like you guys. And
So what does black
empower
economics mean to you?
to me, it's just for me personally, it's like we just gotta empower the next generation.
Okay.
You gotta, for me, that's so when I get a show like yours and you're empowering people like your last episode, and that touches me. That makes it all worth it. I don't have to I could do that for free. So for me, it's an empowering thing.
No, I understand. I agree both to what you and Mel said. I add that to my point of view. To me, what Black economics is, it's community. It's the economics within a community. It's the school structure. It's the business structure. It's the living situation. And I think that, like you touched on a little bit, Mel, where we suffer at is that you can pass on an inheritance of poverty just like you could pass on an inheritance of wealth. And I think a lot of people of color have been passed down an inheritance of poverty, and they have that poverty mindset. Because I was just talking to a young guy, this guy that lived across the hall from me, his name is my man Lou. I'm gonna say his name is Lou. And I saw his mom's earlier.
I think his real name is Lou.
His name might
real
be
name.
His name is Lewis. Yo, he said his name is Lewis. Okay. Oh, we might not know who that is. Yo, shout out to Lou. Might not be speaking to K after this. But he didn't drop the gym yet. You could also do the remix.
Listen, long story short, right? Me and Lou, I told his mother that she was like, yo, I want my son to do something with himself. You know, I want him to get on the right track. So I said, I'm gonna drop a jewel on him if I see him. I'm in the house working on some shirts. So I said, you know what? Let me go knock on his door. Knocked on his door. His mom came to the door. I said, you can tell your son to come on here real quick. He came to the apartment where I was making some of my sweatshirts. And I asked him, like, what's going on? And he was like, yo, I just want to do something with myself, but I haven't been to school for the last 2 or 3 years. I need to get my regents. I need 30 credits. So I gave him a plan to get his GED. I asked Lou, I said, what do you want to do? Lou said, I want to get into computer coding. Like, I want to do computers. I'm pretty good at computers. But he was so focused on the community and the environment. Like, yo, I messed up, man. I used to go to Transit Tech and I should have did this. Or I made these mistakes with these friends. And you could see that the environment was kind of consuming him.
Lou was about 19, right?
Lou was 18. Okay. So my perspective to Lou was this. Instead of you trying to go back to school for the next 3 years and do 5 regions, how about you start studying for your GED? You get your GED, and then me and you will start looking for colleges that you could go into so that you could become a computer programmer and that you can learn this skill set. Because his main thing when we started the conversation was, I want to work. I don't really have time for school. And as I explained to him, that I try every shortcut in the book. There is no shortcuts when you create success. One of the main reasons why I asked you to be on this show, and the main reasons why I asked Lamel to be on this show, is because I see y'all worth ethic. I talk to this brother every day, and he's doing doubles. I don't know how he's even on this show. He just did like 2 doubles within the last couple of days. He has his own house. You know, he's a great father. He still manages a social life and a business, which is a few good men. So these are the type of examples, as I told to Lou, example for Dray. You know, he's running his radio show. He's a great father. He's a great person. He allows people like me the opportunity to come on and get a voice. So I said to him, like, we're from this environment. So how could I tell you that I got my master's degree and I'm running a business and I'm teaching myself these skill sets and I live in the same building as you, but you're telling me that the environment hindered you from growing and becoming something? See, it's that inheritance of poverty that we was passed down, and we got to break it. So I told him, I said, do some research. I gave him a call. Here's my number. Call me on Wednesday. And I want to see the steps that you went to study to see how you was going to get your GED. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Again, it goes back to empowering.
Yes. Yeah. That's my definition of Black economics is making sure that you are a part of creating opportunity within your community. Right. You have to try to be a homeowner. You have to be an entrepreneur. We got to get back to creating instead of just talking about it. Yeah. We're doing a lot of talking, like, oh, look, gentrification. Oh, look, these new demographics of people is coming and taking over our community. How did they get here?
Because we run down south.
Yeah,
you know
we go down south.
As a homeowner in the community, I'm torn. I'm gonna be honest, it's been because when they came, my property shot up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but again, we're running down south. What are we running from? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, everything is high, and so it's weird, but we gotta fight.
You know why?
Why can't we sell it to another black man?
Yeah, and that's the thing, because you know, sometimes people look at it from one side of the coin. So gentrification is weird though, because people, what they see, like what you're exposed to, like there was no gentrification 20 years ago here on Gates Avenue. There was no white people here. Now they're coming in, and now people are like, oh wait, what are they doing here? So now you see that narrative, and then you start to change your mindset. Either A, you don't like it, or B, you're all for it. But before, just seeing our people just out here just killing each other, because that's what we was doing for the most part. So now the gentrification forces you to change your mindset and be like, you know what, we need to do this. So now everybody pro-black. A lot of people pro-black.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So people are
Exactly.
pro-black now because they see the white people moving in. So now maybe this was a wake-up call. Maybe some people, maybe we needed this.
100%.
We needed this for some people to wake up, because the whole time with me, you know, I was working and stuff, and I'm like, I can't buy a house because nobody never gave me that. I never gave the Jews. Nobody ever told me that your credit score should be X, Y, and Z. Save up, save your money. Don't spend your money on this. You know, this whole time, I didn't have that guidance.
Right.
I created that for myself, and I'm creating that for my kids, and I'm creating that for anybody around me. Because now you can't be around me, speak to me on an everyday basis without leveling up. Like this brother here, we push each other all day from when we was 19, 20 years old. Like, what you doing? You doing this? All right, I'm doing this, and then we come together and we do this. But it's all about the environment, because we had to take a step out. Like, he went to college, and then he went away, and I went away, and I was in Queens, and so you take a step back and be like, you know what? This ain't it. And then you step out, and then they talk to you a little different. I remember when I first bought my house, I was mad timid. I'm like, damn, they're gonna run my credit score. I don't know how it's gonna be, how much is the down payment and everything. And then 2 years later, after that, score went up. I'm in the dealer with my feet on the desk, and the car dealer like,
you become a junkie. You just want to keep going.
Exactly. You're not gonna talk to me crazy. I already know this is what I got. These are my credentials, brother.
Yeah.
Now the ball is in your court.
Yeah.
But you don't know that. A lot of people think that you need $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 to buy a house.
Credit is king.
Credit is king.
Credit is king.
But nobody's telling us that.
Right.
But all these guys, when I was 25 years old, I got my supervisor, there was another supervisor in there. We went the same class. He was the same age as me, same year and everything. He had a whole house. He was like 24 years old. I'm like, yo, I'm in the project. Well, I was out of there about the time, but you know, I'm from the projects. Like, I don't know about that. His father helped him. You know, so it's like, okay, what am I missing here?
Right.
So now with my kids, I'm on top of them. I'm gonna show them that you gotta your credit, build this, save money, do all this. You know, we gotta push on to our people. It's kind of happening now, because you know, like even with Jay-Z, with his things that he's doing, it's people are waking up and realizing, like, you know, he got the shirt to say "Wake Up." That shit is real.
Now, you know what else caught us off guard? Like, well, this shit started when I don't know if you guys watch Sex and the City, when Miranda and them, they moved to Brooklyn. Yeah. So now it became cool for white people to move to Brooklyn. But you know what they do that we have too much pride to do? They'll get roommates. I'm not trying to have a room with 3 other people. They'll do that.
They'll do that.
They'll do that.
Just to get up.
We're gonna get into that, because let's talk about not just people, white people who do that. You have foreigners, people from other countries that come here, and they'll go with 3 or 4 of their friends. They'll get a loan, get that collateral income that they need to build up a building or to get 5, 6 brownstones. And the next thing you know, they own 5 or 6 blocks. It goes back into our mindset of people of color. We have been taught that I need to hate on my brother. Like, honestly speaking, I speak to Lamel so much about how, not to say that I didn't have the knowledge, but it's different in this day and age from when my great grandmother was getting her house in 1960 or 1950, right? So talking to my man about, like, you know, the closing fees, or what his credit score had to be, or how much he had to put in, what, you know, the down payment versus the closing fees, all of these little things. Like, this is not, we're not just talking about what's going on social media. Like, so when I get off the phone with him, I'm like, oh damn, like I'm glad I just got this master's, because I'm about to get this job, because it's time that I get my own house. You understand what I'm saying? So you also have to put yourself around people that's doing these things.
Like my man, shout out to my man Tone. He brought a horse. I don't know any nigga that's buying a horse.
He got a horse.
He only paid $10,000 for it. Only $10,000.
Yeah.
But nobody mental. My shit wasn't there. Like, buy a horse. He did the research, and it's like you said. I want to be around people that's doing something.
He's doing something.
Like Donnell. The name is, he just got a barbershop.
Yep.
But the barbershop name is started from the podcast. Shameless plug. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, it takes that to spark. So I don't want to be around nobody that's not doing that.
No, you can't.
At all.
You can't. What 50 said? His grandfather told him, "You're gonna get as far as the people that you talk to for no reason."
What information can they give you?
What information can they give you?
Right.
And that's the thing. And that's not to say that you gotta look at people differently or whatever. But you gotta make sure you separate yourself. Because I can go in and out of this place all day. I'm down the block. I still fuck with you. I'm gonna go get mine. You either gonna follow me or you not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then that's the thing. So, you know, like me and my couple brothers, we started, you know, a few great men. You know, we had us on the podcast. You know, we talk. We still doing our same thing. We still giving back to the community. We still showing young brothers. We're about to get into the point where we're gonna start, like, you know, like taking in younger kids and showing them something. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, sometimes you could show somebody what you're doing, but until you bring them out and actually show them, like, you know, like when I had my housewarming, people came like, yo, you really got a fucking house. I'm like, yeah, and I never had a house before. Nobody in my immediate family had no houses or nothing. So now it's like, all right, what are we doing here? This is what's next. Everything is what's next. We showing it to my kids. They're growing up in the house, so they're gonna know when they get older that that's the goal.
What do you do to the person that I don't mean it? I don't think
Yeah.
so. The people that's not ready to receive that message.
And that's the thing. Most people ain't ready to receive that message. But all you could do is just show them by your actions. Like this is because sometimes people come to me every other day. Yo, man, I did what you said. Oh, I should have did this. Or I did it this way because a lot of people ain't ready. Even the people that want to receive the message are still stuck in their ways because, like he said, you got to break that cycle because this is what we're given. This is what we told. Like you said earlier, the bad credit shit. Like that shit'll destroy you.
Yeah.
You know what I told the young boy? I said, don't ever be a product in your environment. Big Lou. I said, let your environment be a product of you. You know? So, you stupid.
That shit closed down like,
you fucked him up like
10 years ago.
Listen, we going to the next question now, right? Listen. My next question is, I watch my man Wallow. Y'all ever heard Wallow 267?
Yeah. Gilly brother.
Yeah, I always repost Wallow joint, man. He inspires me. I love his energy.
Huh? Philly,
yeah, like the way he run up on his videos is inspiring to me because he's consistent with it, right? Mm-hmm. So I was watching his last video and he was in front of Mr. Johnson's old store, right?
Burned down.
And he was like, yo, you remember Mr. Johnson's old store? He like, yo, Mr. Johnson used to have a book. And he was like, yo, he'll come in and you could get whatever you needed on credit. But he said the problem with people of color is that when they got the check, instead of coming and paying Mr. Johnson, they went to the Chinese. They went to the restaurants in the area that wasn't showing them no love. So guess what happened to Mr. Johnson's store? Mr. Johnson's store closed down and is owned by probably another entity that has stores all over the community. Hence,
he died.
He died, right?
Yeah, he died.
What happened to the mom and pop stores? Like, because we know a lot of mom and pop stores in the community. So, in your opinions, what happened to all the mom and pop stores?
The mom and pop stores, they can't survive. They can't survive because a lot of people, like, we are quick to not support our people. They always talk about the support. Support goes a long way. Support don't got to be buying nothing. Support don't got to be, you could shout somebody out. You could tell a friend. You could do all this stuff. Just same thing with the podcast. I might say this 15 times today. I know, like I told you, because that studio we was in was owned by white men. We knew that. That shit was in the middle of Manhattan, and it was trash. But we was in there. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I'm like, nah, we going to go support these dudes here. And I just remember that day, this energy is there. That goes by support. You bring in people, it's a circle of life. You know, it's the cipher. So at the end of the day, when we don't support each other, because we do not support each other, and I don't see that shit changing in the near future, because like that crab in the barrel mentality, you're taught that. From young, you see that. You like, oh, nah, I ain't fucking with that because this dude got this. Or you could do this. I'm going to step out my comfort zone and I'm going to do something different. When I was going to school, I stopped hanging out late night with my homeboys. I was walking to school. I was going to Lincoln Tech trying to get my HVAC degree and shit. I had this heavy-ass toolbox. My couple man, my son, he just came home with my man, Rel. I was walking cold, brick-ass. You want some help? We like, you know what I mean? Like, they're like, damn, you going to school, boy? I always wanted to do that. Like, at the end of the day, they ain't judge me or nothing like that. So you could. I always tell my sons this all the time. You could be cool and still be about your business.
Exactly.
That's what I base my whole life
on.
When people talk to me, they know, oh, Mel cool, but they do his one too.
Because you know what it is? I actually know some people that has podcasts, like he said, like, in the city, whatever. These are pro-black guys. On the gram, they pro-black. Mm-hmm. They rock with something that's right on. And they know me. I don't even feel no kind of way. I sit there and watch it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, you know what it is? I learned some people look at people that look like you, and it reminds them of what they're not.
Okay, let me say something to that. Here's an example of what black economics is to me. I live on in an area, right, like Franklin, right, on Franklin and something, right, and in that area there's a juice bar right across the street from where I live at, right. Mm-hmm. So when I go outside, just because it's in the radius of where I live, I do my miles in the morning. It's very easy for me to walk to this juice bar, which is owned by Chinese people, and just get me the juice, or give me a juice or a smoothie. You know where I go get my juice from? I go to Juices for Life, which is on Malcolm X and McDonough, right? It's an intentional thought that I don't care how thirsty I am, how much I need the nutrients of that smoothie. I understand what black economics mean to me is that intentionally, I'm going to walk past the next 5 smoothie spots that's owned or have been put here because of gentrification, and I'm going to go to the one that's owned by Angela Yee and Styles P. Intentionally, every time that I want a smoothie. That's black economics, and I think that We have to be the example, because as I was listening to y'all speak, I said to myself is that we have to be diligent with this. So just like how you're working on new business ventures, just like how you're doing Best Style Brooklyn brunches, just like how in this gentrified area you have a radio station in a nice building and you're doing your thing, we have to be diligent on opening up cleaners, dry cleaners, stores, delis, supermarkets. We have to open them up because as you can see, it's happening. How many dry cleaners, how many boutiques, how many new restaurants have you walked by, you never heard of it, but it's full, it's packed. So what is stopping you? You know what's stopping you? The mindset. You don't have the credit, you don't have the down payment, you don't understand what you need to do. So you have to now change that mindset. So instead of you spending your money on Louis Vuittons or something that costs an extreme amount of money, put that money into your credit. Put that money in the building your credit score where you could get a business loan and you could go out there and open up your own spot. Where instead of us just talking about black economics, we could be a part of really, paving the way for the next generation. Because that's what we're doing. That's what I see you're doing. That's what I see you're doing. Like, you're doing, my parents wasn't able to give me a nice house with a backyard. I didn't been in your house. You know what I'm saying? So you have put yourself in a position where your two sons are not living how you came up. That right there is evolution. You see, evolution has to be intentional, though. You see, because you have to make sure, I have a daughter now. So it's intentional now for me to make sure that I'm not giving on that mindset of poverty. My professor told me one of these quotes. He said the new illiterate of the 21st century are no longer people that can't read or write. It's people that can't learn or unlearn. It stuck with me. He told me this in 2014. It stuck with me because that's really the new illiterate. You could really be able to read and do math and be illiterate now because you done learned all of these bad habits and you can't shake it. So now you start having offsprings and you passing on the bad habits. So you like, go, damn, how has been generations? How do you end up in the hood for 30, 40 years? Because you ain't been paying attention to black economics. Because you're not supposed to be paying rent for over 5 years. I learned that. My grandparents, they got their house during the post-civil rights movement. So my great-grandmother got her first house in 1950. So that's before the civil rights bill was passed in 1964. So that means 15 years prior to that, she was able to get a house and a restaurant in New York City. So you're telling me that she found a way to do it, that now we have to do that.
Master's degree come out.
You see it, right.
Your man just told us.
That's
when the civil rights bill was passed.
Listen, don't try to spend style on us. Don't do that.
Jesus Christ. Bro, what's up? Is it set up?
So
I feel like it.
Everybody in here is on my level,
I
and my man probably is. He got us by a few years, but I know he got me in knowledge because I call him on a regular basis, and me and you are still sharp and still. So my point is that we have to be diligent now. We see what's happening within our communities. So now we got to teach our young people that, like, I live in a nice building, right? I have a nice area where I go in. My building got a gym, it got, a rooftop. But guess what? If it's not a mortgage, I'm fooling myself. So yeah, I could bring people, come to my room, let's go to the game room, let's do all of this nice stuff. But at the end of the day, you know who really killing it? Y'all two. Because at the end of the day, y'all have property. You could refinance your house, get a whole nother, go buy you another house, go invest in another business. You understand what I'm saying?
It's headaches.
It's headaches.
I'm going through some shit right now.
It is, bro.
I got property in New York and in the South.
Everything is headaches.
Property is headaches.
But
you need that.
It's
a
headache.
You need that foundation.
It's a good headache.
Because it changes the narrative.
But what would you rather?
In your whole mindset.
Would you rather give somebody $30,000 per year for 10, 15 years, or would you rather invest that $30,000 per year into yourself where you could get it back? Because the average person is spending now $30,000 to $40,000 to say they live in New York City. But if you was in a house, you could take that same $40,000 to $80,000 in 2 years and you could pull it out and you could use it. See, that's when headaches are beneficial. Yeah. See, we have headaches where, I don't have to clean up my building. They take my garbage out. But hey, you just gave the landlord 30 bins.
You know how you could do that, but most of us don't know? And how they come up? Life insurance. You get a whole insurance, whole term insurance. You can take money from the insurance, but you don't realize until somebody died. A lot of us don't got fucking life insurance.
Yeah, you see somebody born and they die and they doing
that's how they come up. They come up through life, not even through property, through life insurance. Yeah. And that's key. That's something that people.
That's a lot of things that us as black people don't have either.
Because we don't like to talk about that.
Because we don't like to talk about that. We don't like to talk about what's important.
Right.
We're not never talking about what's important because the narrative for us is do this, do that, do this, do that. Follow these certain people because the majority of African Americans are doing bad.
Okay,
Right, exactly.
Let's go to the next question, right? What do you think about the current rent structure in New York City?
The current rent structure in New York City. The rent structure in New York City is insane, right? The cost of living, for the most part, like at my job, we don't really get cost of living because it's too hot. So a lot of jobs, they're not paying people cost of living because if they pay people cost of living, they would have to raise the minimum wage to like $20 an hour because these rents are astronomical. Because these rents are mortgages. My mortgage and my other friend rent is only split by like $3. Like he told me the other day, and I'm like, that's fucking high. But most people don't have $30,000 on hand to put down, $40,000 on hand to put down. So, but this is what it is though. It is not like, okay, this one landlord is charging $3,000. All the fucking landlords are charging $3,000. I'm shopping around because I'm trying to open up a bar. I'm trying, yeah, but you have problems right now.
No.
You have problems right now.
It's South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina. Oh, it's because you're here.
No, and that's just because if something breaks. That's the thing they don't teach. If something breaks, a boiler blows.
Yes,
that's you.
You are responsible for that.
That's you.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. So at the end of the day, it's like, what are we really doing here? Do we really want to pay this fucking $2,500 or do we? But a lot of people, they haven't been saving their money because they don't know how important it is to save money or take your credit score or go get a first-time home buyer. You get a first-time home buyer, you get in a house with less than $20,000. You get a real job, you get a 401k, you pull that money out your 401k.
And with that withdrawal, I know what you're talking
and
about.
that's your money.
You borrow from yourself.
And you pay yourself back with interest.
Yes.
So you can have your money
do it
back.
all the time.
Yeah, I put a down payment on my house
Talk to
in
him real
2018.
quick.
I have all that money back.
Just talk to him.
It never happened.
Yeah.
My house down payment never happened.
Yeah.
I put all my money back. I borrowed from myself, and I put my money back at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
But what they don't talk about, if your credit is good, it's just the smaller the down payment is. And if you got a good lawyer, the smaller the closing will be.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So my
I
thing
want
is,
you to answer that question.
as a homeowner in this area, like I said, I'm torn. But it's fucked up. I ain't gonna lie to you, it's fucked up. The going rate is about, for let's say a 2-bedroom. Average 2-bedroom.
25.
It's 25.
22 to 25.
Anywhere from 22
Which
to
is
25.
somebody's mortgage.
I'm coming in under that. Oh, I'm gonna tell you why. Only because
He plugging the bar.
No. I just did a 3. I just did a 3 at least.
Yeah.
Y'all
got an opening?
Easy.
Y'all got an opening? It sound like y'all got an opening.
Not at all.
Yeah.
She pays under that amount, but she pays. I forget that it's the first until I get that Zelle account.
Yeah.
Because you know what? A lot of people can't afford that $25. So you're gonna end up getting somebody that's getting to your property.
Getting them behind.
They get
My
behind,
coworker said that too.
And you cannot right now in New York.
Here's the thing, right?
That's a smart owner's move.
It's a
to
tenant,
put it to where they could pay it.
It's a tenant's thing. Like it's hard to keep somebody
Here's the
out.
thing,
6
right?
months.
I have a family member, right? And I'm not going to disclose who the family member is, but her rent
Louis.
is
I think it's Louis too.
Yo,
right?
shout out to my man
The
Lou.
family member, right?
Just check.
Their
Just
rent,
check it out,
they
Lou.
live in a 3-bedroom, and their rent, they live in a
just traded
3-bedroom,
out?
right? They live in, whatever. They live in a 3-bedroom, and their rent is $1,500, right? Because because it's owned by a black person, right? And the black person saw like, okay, you a parent, or you doing this. This is why it goes back to black economics. Why black economics is so important is that if you don't put your people in a position to win, they will forever be oppressed. So what's happening now? You have so many people that have moved to South or North Carolina or moved away and sold their house, and a lot of people that sold their house don't even understand economics, so they done got $1 million in cash. The government gonna slash that if you don't know how to play with taxes, and you don't know how to. If you don't have a business mindset, you done lost half of what your house is worth anyway. The average person don't understand taxes to that perspective where they're able to make sure that they keep that value of their house. So you got people that have sold $1 million houses and only got $300,000 to $400,000 off of it because they didn't go to school for that, and they thought that they were gonna really hold on to that $1 million. Once somebody give you $1 million in cash, the government want their 30. And unless you are able to put something in place that, combats that, you're gonna lose that. So a lot of our people have sold their houses, and now our young people that's coming out of college, they have to pay the $2,500 to $3,000 rent.
You said you got people paying, somebody paying $15.
Yes, because you have an old person of color that understood, like, I don't need to charge you $35.
But do you know why though? Because that person doesn't have overhead.
Or they probably don't even have a mortgage anymore.
Exactly.
So it's
But
like me charging you $2,500 to $3,000.
If you bring somebody in your property, you can't afford to take that $1,500 because we still got to pay this mortgage because, you know, a lot of like the older people, like the houses are paid off.
That's a fact.
Right. So he can give somebody a $1,500
That's
rent,
a fact.
but I can't.
But
you
me
know what I'm saying?
personally,
or if your credit is good and your mortgage is you have a low payment on your mortgage.
yes.
You can afford it.
Me personally, though, if I own 5 pieces of property right now in Brooklyn, I would not feel comfortable charging a person of color that was coming out of college with a family $2,500 to $3,000 because I already know.
And I'm not here to put you on the spot.
Yes.
Let's say you live on 525 Franklin Avenue, right? So the person on 527, let's say you're charging $1,500. The person on 527 is charging $2,500. The person on 523 is charging $2,100. You're not gonna think about going up a little bit?
I'm gonna be honest to you, right? Like if I'm watching TV, right? if I'm outside, I'm forever for my people, right? So what I'm saying to you is that you gotta do your best, right? To try to put your people in a position to win. And if I had the properties, I would find the people that didn't look like me necessarily. If you got it, yeah, spend it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it real.
But does it mean that you kill yourself in the process?
No, you know,
listen,
I
by
know,
looking out for other people, you can also kill yourself.
One of my homeboys told me a story about Darren Williams, right? I'm always telling stories that I should be telling, right? So my man Darren Williams came to Brooklyn to go buy a house, right?
Wait,
one day.
why are you giving all this government?
I know.
Darren Williams from the Nets.
This is the basketball player, right?
From the Nets.
Right?
Oh,
So he came
from Utah to Brooklyn.
Yeah, so he came
Gotcha.
and he was going to buy a house in Brooklyn, right? I should be telling the story. I was drinking, whatever. So he came to buy a house.
Don't care.
Listen,
He
he came to buy a house, right?
Tell us who told you now.
I'm not telling you who told you, but he came to buy a house, right? And when he tried to buy the house, right, he wasn't able to succeed in getting this brownstone in Brooklyn because there was a clause in it. And the person that was selling the house was like, yo, if you buy this house, you got to sell it to a black person. There's old school people that grew up in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s.
Yes.
They have a clause within the contract that if this house gets sold, it has to be sold to a person of color. Then there's actually people of color that I know right now that own houses that's worth $1.8 million. You can't, they're not even selling. There's a clause in the fine print that you can never sell. The house is for family, whatever, that you could never sell because the mindset has to be created. If you don't create the community that benefits your people, you can't be mad at them being oppressed or being exploited.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. That's mad illegal. Whoever did that,
What you mean?
that's illegal.
What?
You can't do that. You can't.
No, if I
No,
own,
if you can get away with it, get away with it.
and if I own a piece of,
You can't say. You can't tell them once you sell it, it's theirs. You can't tell them.
no, I guess not.
It wouldn't hold
You're
up.
right. I guess not.
But again, if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't hold up.
Absolutely.
And
I guess the point is that they had it in their mind
respect it.
that they wanted that house to be sold to
Let me give you an
person of
example.
color.
The spot we was at on Fulton and Rockaway.
Yes.
It was a show going on at the time. The owner was a black female, and she walked through with 4 black men and 1 white lady. She was giving them a showing during a taping of one of my clients' shows. Mm-hmm. And she's like, so we talked to her like, yo, what up? What are you doing? What's going on? No, don't worry about it. I'll give you guys a heads up, whatever. The shit was already sold. Already sold.
You never said nothing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, so I got a little salty taste in my mouth about the whole the black person
The
and
black guy, we do each other because that's how we do each other.
Yeah.
That's how we do each other because it's personal gain. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you can't really argue with somebody when they're doing something for themselves, a personal gain. Call it undercutting, call it
can't be
whatever.
mad. I
You
can't be mad.
This is what I'm doing for me and my family. Because you know what's crazy about people? I realize like the opinions of people are crazy because even me and him went back and forth. We like fucking 27 when we went back to school, 26, 27. Yeah, he's like, yo, I'm going back to school. I'm like, you're bugging. Because I'm out here getting all this money where I'm at. Yeah. I'm like, nah. He like, yo, I got to go back to school. I'm like, bro, you wildin', we already did that. Like, we got to get, he's like, nah, I got to go back. And then what's for him is for him because looking at who he at now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So after that conversation, I'm like, yo, bro, go ahead. Do what you got to do. But, you know, you can't really argue with people when they think it's for them because what's for them is for them.
Right. I wasn't mad at it. It's just, you know what? We got that through the homeboy hookup.
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to do a lease this time. We're going to do a professional. And whatever. And it all comes down to, like, us, we got to invest in ourselves.
And that's a part of the learning process,
right?
You need that.
You
need it. You see, like we just said, you here because you got the homeboy hookup, like, yo, we're going to day to day. You go, she walking through, selling it. And now you like, the next one we go, yes, be out of here January 1st, 2020.
Right.
Like we talked about.
Exactly.
All right, this is going on to the next question. Do you think more people should invest in owning their own home versus renting for so somebody that's renting and has been renting for the next 5 or 10 years, should you suggest to them that they save some money and put that money down for a down payment to get their own house?
I would say, I want to say yes, but I'm one of them people that feel like everybody's not meant to be a homeowner. Everybody's not meant to be a boss. You know what I'm saying? Like there's workers for a reason. There's tenants for a reason. So you have to be honest with yourself first. Can you handle? Because like, do you know if a boiler break, which is like $2,500 on the spot?
No, I paid $6,000.
Okay, $6,000.
I bought my house in 2018.
You Long Island?
Yes, I bought my house.
I know the rates. With the
That's it. I'm in Long Island. I bought my house in 2018.
He cakes off
in January.
He cakes off with it
on the back end.
Tax time. He cakes off
on the back end. Yes.
Right. So again, how many people do you know got $6,000 on deck for a boiler?
That's crazy.
Just be honest.
And that's what it is. And that shit rock people. Listen, I bought the house in 2018 January. The boiler went in October of 2018. After I done gave these people all my money.
Right.
I remember I called K. I'm like, yo, son. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I was able to finagle how I finagle because I'm like, all right. You know, because I acknowledge. So I'm like, all right. I taught myself a lot of shit, so I did half of that work myself.
But if we're going to tell the story accurately, it was a person of color that showed some love, right?
Yes, it was.
And they put you onto knowledge where you were able to use that with what you know from your profession, and you cut a lot of that money off.
Yes, I cut a lot of it out. This black man took me under the wing. He showed me how to do certain shit. He was like, yo, boilers and all that shit. So I'm like, damn, I got to take this shit out. White dude came, said, yo, it's going to be 9,000. I said, 9,000? They around the corner from me. This place was around the corner from my house. So I'm like, yo, they around the corner, so they got to show some love. He's like, it's gonna be 9,000.
Yeah.
I said, that's insane. I went in there, I went in the lab, I started doing shit, I ordered the shit myself, I cut it out. All I called the dude up, said, yo, brother, I need you to install it for me. Because you know it's all the laws and all that shit you gotta do. You gotta be licensed and everything. Exactly. So I cut half of that out. But like I said, these are the things that do happen with a house.
Yeah. And you have to do it.
You're responsible.
You know what I'm saying? So when that tenant, let's say you get a tenant, or let's say you do an investment property, that tenant tells you, hey, this is not working, it's not working. Are you prepared for that person for that to come out that rent?
Once people start giving you their money, the entitlement starts automatically.
And that's a whole nother
automatically.
Story. And damn, we just be keeping it honest up here. Before I rented to the tenant I got now, you go through the process of
shout out to the tenant.
Yeah, Marina's dope.
Y'all dropping names.
I love Marina. Marina's dope.
Yeah.
But before that, you go through all. I was in court with a person named Ralph. Fuck that. I didn't drop him. But you go through these things and think, damn, you know what? People come to you and you got their own welfare, whatever. Mm-hmm. The government, they don't even pay you. They don't even responsible for $300. Yeah. So now you have you got to think, damn, if they only paying $300. How much are they gonna value your property?
Yes.
They're $300.
Kids
$300. Running around scratching stuff up.
Tearing the crib up.
It's a gift and a curse. Mm-hmm. Everybody's not prepared for it. So you have to be honest with yourself and ask people. Mm. Ask people for advice. Yeah. I'm with it.
But as far as the homeowners go for yourself and your family, you have to do that. You should do that.
Yeah.
That should be the goal.
It has to be the goal.
Even if you don't put tenants, I got an apartment in my house. I don't have a tenant in there. Yeah. Even if you don't, you do that. You go up and down. Like I've never had that. Like my sons, they in the backyard, they playing, they running in the street, they doing all this. I remember I had the housewarming, the police came, and me with my Brooklyn mentality. This is my first year. I was only there for 3 months. The police came. fucking nice as hell. They got a whole different outlook when they talking to you.
Only those things
He said that. He said, "Oh no, I'm just make sure that."
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because this is your property and you are an owner. They don't treat you like when you see. I was raised on the sidewalk. Yeah. We didn't own none of that shit. We in front of the building on Gates Avenue.
You gotta move.
They running all that shit.
Everybody
y'all
get
can't
locked
stand
up.
out here. What you mean? You can't stand right here. We go over here. Y'all can't stand over there.
Well, we ready to fight and kill for that.
Yes, exactly.
When you own stuff, hey, I call my man Steven Smith. Handle that.
Yes.
My lawyer.
That's it. When you own stuff, as I said, but we dying over these, like Jay-Z said. That's your mama written. You dying over these streets and you arguing with these police officers that's gun ho and they're killing people for no fucking reason.
Exactly.
It's not even worth it.
Exactly.
All right.
It's not even worth it.
We're going to transition to the next question.
We rolling.
People of color spend trillions of dollars yearly. Why do you think that we still have poverty-stricken communities and broken school structures? Like, why aren't, if we're spending as a demographic of people that look like us, we're spending trillions of dollars per year. Not millions, not billions.
On what?
Trillions. On cars, on bags, on houses, on clothes, on extracurricular activity. If you look at the numbers, trillions of dollars is being spent for people of color as a whole. Why aren't our communities why don't our communities reflect that?
We want to be fly. But what's missing too is more white people in welfare than black people.
Yes.
That's something that people don't talk about, but that's a whole nother story for another day. Mm-hmm. But we want to be fly. Like a billionaire, they will wear $30 sneakers. Mm-hmm. And it's just to be dirty, they'll step on, you know what I'm saying? Dirty laces. We want to be fly. Mm-hmm. And that's our fault. That's always going to kill us. We want to be on, even if you, even if you go to a drug dealer, if you compare a black drug dealer to a white drug dealer, we want to be on Front Street. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's our downfall. That's totally our downfall.
Yeah, we do want to spend. We want to show out. Like it's been that way since back in the day.
Because we never had nothing.
So when we get something, we
want to let everybody know.
We want to let everybody know we got something. Even like fucking what's the name? The owner of Facebook, he was living in that same bullshit ass house that he grew up in. Yep. He was a millionaire at the time. At the time, he was living in a house still, even though he had millions of dollars. It was like, what? Like, he didn't go out and buy no lavish.
That was the same with my man, not Bill Gates. What's my man name? What's the next? What's my man? Not Bill Gates. Warren Buffett. He still his family house.
Family house and all that.
They still
his
live
kids.
there.
You see his will, the way his will is written. He's not even giving his kids all that money. They got to go out there and start their own shit. You know what I mean? And then you raised on that. You don't go out there and buying like some of my coworkers. One of my coworkers are mostly white. You tell them sneakers and Jordans is $300. They're looking at you like you got three heads.
Stupid. And you
paid $300 for a pair of sneakers.
And you know what we do that's fucked up? Like, let's say our mother didn't buy us those particular Jordans, the 7s. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're gonna make sure our kids have the 7s.
Yes.
They don't know. They don't give a fuck. They want. If it's up to them, they have sketches that light up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or Power Patrol joints or something like
yes.
that.
The
That's
materialistic thing. You're teaching them that.
We instill that shit into because we living through them.
If I could say anything to that, I would say to my young people out there, to my young parents, if you want to invest in your child to have a better life, then work on making sure that your child has a high credit score before they're 15. Make sure you invest your money into a college fund. Make sure you invest your money into stocks and bonds where your child could not have to come out of college and be in debt, but they can have investments and they can have property ready for them once they make once they finish that journey in their life. Like a lot of our people, we love that material stuff, but the material stuff keep us poor. So buying your child $500, $700 sneakers when they're gonna grow out of it, or buying your child a $1,000 outfit, and if your child don't have those stocks and bonds and credit to back that up with, it's foolish. And
ask them to read something. Ask them same kids to read a sentence.
It's asinine, to be honest with you. And I'm not judging anybody, but I'm telling you that if you have that money to invest in sneakers and material things, then you should take that money and open up school funds. You should make sure that your child is when they're going into high school, they already have a 750 credit score, because that really puts them in position to win. Buying them material clothes and making sure they look nice does not put them in a position to win, because honestly speaking, our competition is spending $20,000, $40,000 $1,000 per year on their kid's school before college. So you got to think that the competition that your child gonna come across has already been putting themselves in a position for the last 12 years. So while you buying your kids joints, the other white kid or foreigner kid is empowering himself with all type of different type of knowledge and mind skill set so that he can beat you or so that she can beat you. So now when your kid is 18 and they only look nice and they have no skill sets, they're gonna lose the race.
Question: we got all three of us. We get up. Somebody just throws. We got $100,000. We worked our ass off. We got it. Do we invest that in Duke University for our kids or whatever, or do we open a business for them?
If my daughter, I'm gonna put my daughter in a position to go to an HBCU. I plan on making sure that my child is not in any type of debt, doesn't have to worry about the things that I had to worry about. I want her to get
That's
that
still
culture.
a fee, though.
It is a fee.
It is a fee.
It is
So-
a fee, but I want her to
So my question is
that.
if you have a choice between to start your kid a business,
I want to do both.
let's just say you have one or the other. What would you do? You next, man.
If I only had one
What choice? Let's just. We all would do both, but let's say we got a choice for one. What would you do?
I would put her through school.
Interesting. What would you do?
Yeah, I would probably put it through school too.
Okay.
Or I probably put my kids through school too because just to have that, the knowledge is important.
Right.
Because they can also go and start their business. Because like the business is 50-50. You can start a business like that shit on Rockaway and Atlantic that changes fucking names every day. That black owned.
It's funny because I know exactly.
That-
right now, that shit is
I don't know what it is. It's probably Pep Boys
no,
right
no,
now.
you know what it is? That's funny, yo. But that shit is they sell headstones
What?
for funerals.
No, they don't.
I swear to
You talking
God.
about the soul food spot?
No, that's Thomas Boyle.
Yes, that was balling.
Yeah. Headstones.
Headstones. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like the shit changes all the time. So you get them their college, their education, and they go in there and, like one of my coworkers was telling me it's so crazy. He told me, like, it's so important to have your kids go through college instead of putting them in debt. He told me that he signed his kids over to the grandparents because the grandparents make less money. And when you go to the school, they're looking for your parents to pay all that money out.
Exactly.
But they give your grandparents all these grants and loans.
Right.
So
It's a lot of grants out here.
So he signed his kids over to his grandparents. So when they go to college, because they just got to college, now the grandparents got them. And when they go to college, I live with my grandparents. And then their bills are minimal because this is some things that we have to do because this shit is putting people in debt.
Here's the other thing is that our children are investments, right? So you have to think that if you're not, you have to invest in your child at an early age. It could be tennis, it could be swimming, it could be extracurricular activity, it could be education. The more you invest in them at a young age, the more that you don't have to worry about paying for things at a later age because now they're going to get scholarships. It doesn't matter if you make $1 million. If your child has a certain GPA and provided a certain amount of work, then they got to pay. They can't hit you with, because it could be an educational scholarship. Every scholarship is not income or sports based. It's scholarships that's just strictly based upon your education. So if you kept a certain GPA and you kept a certain average, they got to give you that money.
All right, but how easy is that?
It's not easy. Exactly. But what I'm saying is a lot of our
You know what I mean?
think about it like this. You rather put that work in increments throughout your child being from 0 to 18, or you rather wait till your child get 18 and got to come up with $120,000 for your child to go to school. One way or another, from the back or the front end, you're going to get hit. So it's either you put yourself in the position to get hit, or you just get hit like an accident when you just sit at the light and the car knock you to another lane. So which one do you want to take?
You know, another thing we don't instill in our kids, and we probably don't take. I was speaking to August 24th. I was speaking to this older white guy, Jewish guy. His name is Van. It's at my man Kamel's party, and he told me some real shit. He said, "Where a lot of people, I think he was trying to say black people, but he said where a lot of people going wrong is we chase the money instead of chasing the relationship. You know what I'm saying? The relationship brings resources.
Yes.
Resources is what gets you money.
Yes.
When you could call somebody, yo, I need this, I need a favor, I need this, whatever.
Can you do this for me?
And I think that's our problem. we chase the money instead of the relationship.
I agree with you, and it goes back to the people of color spending $1 trillion. It has to be intentional for us right now. The reason why the $1 trillion don't matter is the same reason why our politics power structure doesn't matter.
No, but you can spend $1 trillion.
No.
It depends on what you spend that money on.
Let me break it down to you. Why I say it don't matter is because it's not collective. It's like it's being broken down in increments. You got people buying cars, you got people buying homes, you got people spending their money on jewelry. If we came together as a collective power and that $1 trillion was like going into the same place in different states, in different parts of communities all over the United States, that money, that's where the power lies at. You know what I'm saying? Because think about when the politics come. Why people of color always lose that, because we don't have that strong power structure, because we're not together. So you got these type of Democrats, you got these type of Democrats, and then everybody has a different mission, and we never could come to the same plan. But then you look at it, and those same white people that we're talking about, they find a way to get $1 million into their community park. They find a way to get $1 million into their community school. You be like, yo, what happened? Oh, they were going to the meetings. They were working together.
Let's say you give a person $350. And you put it in our community, and you say, yo, would you rather get these Yeezys, which is probably $550, for these Yeezys, or go to this summit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they're gonna go with the Yeezys.
Yeah, they'll go with the Yeezys.
You know what I'm saying?
Pay $300
at that age,
real estate.
Right now, I would say the summit because at my age. But at that age, at 20 something, I want the Yeezys.
Yes.
I'm gonna say
how can we make that look cool? I think that's the key. How can we make empowering people and investing in ourselves?
It has to be, the programs have to be created, whether we have to create it on our own. Because at the same time, I ain't gonna disrespect Yeezy, but and Michael Jordan at his prime, ain't too many sneakers that ain't too many. I got Yeezys on, but Michael Jordan. But listen, Michael Jordan at his time. Listen. Listen. I'm not gonna disrespect Yeezy, but Michael Jordan at his prime, right? You go back into the 90s, you had people that was spending their lives on Michael Jordan sneakers. No different how people spend their money on Yeezys. When I grew up, the structures that were created, we had Pfizer, which was a company that was owned by Johnson & Johnson.
That's right on the hood.
Right on the hood, right? Pfizer had after school programs where they paid for us to go away to camp for 3 weeks to a month in the summertime. They brought us to all these different organizations during the year. They showed us, they let us go on corporations where people was actively at work.
And we got right behind Marcy Projects.
Exactly, but they took us, and I went to PS35 right here on McDonald's.
No, exactly.
They were sponsored by Pfizer, so there were programs that at that time Jordan was the Yeezys. At that time, my grandparents made sure that after I left school, I went to after school, and after school gave me a whole different type of understanding. I think a lot of our school structures lack these programs, so we have all of these nice, different curriculums for these regents and for these kids to get to college, but at the end of the day, how much information are we giving them that's going to help them in the real world? They should have real estate classes, they should have credit classes, they should have classes that teach you about taxes. That should be implemented into these systems, into these school systems.
That's why I'm looking
real life information. You know what I'm saying? But why isn't it? Why is it that they're giving you 80%, 90% information that you're supposed to, that you need to have and pass, but when you get into the real world, none of it is beneficial?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like you drop that fucking, those dates, and that's what they're teaching you. It's about this, you learn about this, you learn about the Civil War and all this other stuff. You learn about the Civil War and everything, and then now you get out in the real world and they're like, yeah, by the way, we're gonna need 10% of that.
Yeah, Maddie broke the dates.
Yeah, we're gonna do dates. We need 13% of that. You know what I'm saying? You're like, wait, what the fuck is this? They're not teaching me none of this. You know what I mean? Now some schools they pick up cooking. Like I went to Westinghouse downtown. They taught me how to be an electrician. That's how I picked up the trade. Okay. They taught me that. I got put in a situation but all my friends they went to Boys and Girls. Boys and Girls wasn't teaching the motherfucker a goddamn trade.
Put you on a suit and a tie.
At all.
That was it.
At all. Not only was that Boys and Girls, they talk about they was giving motherfuckers cut schedules. You giving somebody, they start acting up. Mickens was giving people M3s and M5s, so you only go to school for half the day.
Well, listen,
that was putting black people behind.
Listen, the numbers don't. I'm an advocate for Boys and Girls, right?
And you are. But that was putting black people behind. Because I tell you, my brother came out of that. My brother did not finish school because of that situation.
Listen,
I went to Westinghouse. They wasn't doing that shit. My brother had an M5 went to an M3.
I know a lot of people that
never finished
girls.
school.
That's gonna be mad at that, but he's a
Listen,
back in the 2000s and 90s,
perspective
people wasn't graduating
I didn't
from boys
go
and
to
girls,
boys
brother.
and girls, but I understand the culture of boys and girls.
Boys and girls is a pillar
it's 7
in the
blocks
community.
away from where we
But
live.
boys and girls wasn't
What
doing
I'm
right
saying
by
to
us,
you
brother.
is that
They wasn't doing right
No,
by us. I
agree
can
to
stop
that.
on record
What
to
I'm
say
saying
that.
to
Shout
you
out to
is,
my man, Dog
if you
Down,
had
real
the
quick.
wrong mindset, like if you was a gangster, if you was somebody that was going to be poison, what happened right now? If we put 100 apples right now on this table, and we take one spoiled apple and we put it next to the 100 apples, they're gonna spoil the other apples, right?
But those same apples is in every
you spoke the
situation.
truth. My perspective on Mickens was
Going mad hard
that
for
he
Mickens right now.
separated the poison apples
I did.
because
One
at
game
the
Boys and Girls.
end of the day, here's the downside to, since I worked for the Board of Ed at one point and I understand the history of boys and girls. Understand this: you have schools that scan in schools where the Board of Ed or the powers that be allow them to control what kids come into the school. Then you have schools like Boys and Girls. When you look at the graduation rate for Boys and Girls when Mickens was in there, it was 85%, right? Almost 90. And then when you look at the graduation rate for kids that left school and graduated college, it was 85%.
Yeah.
They allow any kid to go into Boys and Girls, no matter how good the school was.
Yeah.
You could be a person that just got off of a murder charge. They sending you to your zone school, and Boys and Girls did not have the ability to say this person does not fit into our community.
No.
So what happens?
Because
10
it's
or
Board of
15
Education.
people
It's a
that are the
business.
poisoned apples, they get in there and they're able to persuade the other young people to do the wrong thing. So he was forced to come up with different structures to be able to combat that.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say about Mickens. He didn't have that structure where the city helped him. Yeah,
But
they
these
didn't put
same
him in a
people,
position to win.
same people, like these are our people that needed this. These same people that needed
over
us.
hour?
We took these kids. We took these kids and we put them in situations where they couldn't prosper. Because I know a lot of, like, when my brother went to, because he's 3 years ahead of me, 2 years senior than me. When my brother went to Boys and Girls, he did not make it out. So when it was come time for me to go to ninth grade, my mother said, "You are not going to Boys and Girls. You are going downtown Brooklyn."
Right.
Okay.
So I went
Listen.
downtown Brooklyn where because the same thing with me. I fucked up from the 10th grade, 9th grade and 10th grade. I made up all my credits in the 11th grade. So I was able to come back from that in the 11th grade because I had, but you can't take some people and you putting these same people back on the street. Because I can talk about people, the graduation rate, because I'm right here on Marcus Garvey.
Yeah.
Half those motherfuckers, I'm telling you, people rant and rave about boys and girls do not have diplomas. They don't have diplomas. The girls do, the graduation rate, the girls do, or some of the boys do, but then you can't graduate losing 3 classes a day.
Here's my thing with Boys and Girls, right? I've worked there for like 3 years.
Not under the Mickens regime. When the Mickens
I
regime was there, you was not there.
No, I wasn't.
You was in Cottle Hill.
I volunteered for 7-8 years. What I can say about Boys and Girls is this: is that it's one of the main real estate entities within Brooklyn, New York. And they have been trying to get access to that school since Mickens. But they had no control over that when he was there because he showed how proficient and how educated our people were, right? No matter how many bad things that you could say about the school, at that time, the school was in a progressive state. And even at this point right now, the principal there is Gretchen Harrison Walker. And she has even put the school in a position where she got it off of the list of being a bad school, where she got the graduation rates up. I say this about Boys and Girls. Whatever went wrong with Boys and Girls over the last 15 to 20 years, I blame the community. The same way I blame the same people that allow gentrification to take over the black community. You see, the difference between Boys and Girls and between like a transit tech is that they make sure that they put their kids in a position to win, and not just on the educational, on the school level,
saying boys
the
and girls?
parent level,
You saying-
the community level.
Yeah.
See, we critique Boys and Girls. We find things that's wrong with Boys and Girls. But collectively, we are supposed to make sure schools like that exist so that our people have somewhere to go. So it has to be more than what the chancellor or the principal or the school is doing. The community has to play a role in making sure that the school is in a conducive, successful environment so that it can help these kids.
And no, but that, you say that. Now, the school, boys and girls, they started off a losing position because they get, like you said, they get all these bad kids, they putting them in the same situation, they all friends, they gangbanging, they doing all this. So the principal was put in a position to do something about this, and that's what he did.
It was like an Eli, it was like a lean on me type of
It was almost a lean on me type of school. Mickens is a genius.
Yeah.
He was great, but he was put in a position to fail. And he
Absolutely.
actually came
And if
up out
you
of that,
remember in Lean on
the
Me,
victor.
my man had to lock the doors to keep the drug dealers out.
Exactly.
What did the board of ed do? They like, yo, you going to jail.
You can't do that. Exactly.
But
You
what
can't
do
do
you
that.
do for those kids that's coming to school and you got drug dealers trying to sell them crack valves?
You gotta
How
do
you keep them out?
You gotta do
You know what I'm saying?
something.
So you got to figure out something. We got a few minutes left, right? So I want to get to the last couple of questions.
And first of all, I totally think people bring me on the show just so they get an extra 10 minutes. You see, I forgot to start the
You forgot to start the time. I would be honest with you, bro.
I was looking at that time the whole time.
Because
They
you
give
my
me actually
man.
48 minutes.
Listen, because you my man. Because you my man.
Slid out
I
the
got
Pyro.
time to
Because
play,
Pyro
bro.
would have killed
I
this.
was not
Pyro
trying
would
to
have
get
killed
this.
this.
Pyro be on point.
Pyro,
I ain't gonna lie,
I'll be downtown
bro.
Brooklyn by now.
I
Pyro
already,
was
so I
here.
said, my man slipping. He even pressed the clock for me.
That's what
But
we
you
get
know
Pyro on
what?
the show. They're like, yo, let's get Rock on the
It's
show.
love.
Rock had a
Let's
joke.
We get Rock on the show. We get an extra 30 minutes. Matter
All
of fact,
day, they
we
give
gonna
me.
spin back.
All right. Listen,
gonna spin back.
we got like 4 or 5 more minutes.
Yeah,
Last
yeah,
couple
yeah.
questions. Why don't more people of color work together to create more successful businesses? Where did that negative mindset of people of color not supporting and loving and looking out for each other? Where did it come from, and why is it happening?
It's
How
so
do we
weird.
get rid
Like
of it?
even people of color, they can't. Like I know, like so many, like let's say the owners of Moe's, right? There's like three black brothers, and they own Moe's, and then they own like Bedford Hall, the original one, and they all couldn't get it together. They broke up because of differences. The same thing like with the owners of that spot over there by Bridge Street, and then they bought the shit on Fulton Street. And that shit closed over there on Fulton, like Franklin. Like it's just for some reason these black people, they can't get it together. Like they can't. Like these black people are not working as entities, as partners, because there's no one person that's bigger than the entity.
Exactly. I'm a co-owner of this.
Yes.
We've been talking about Pyro. And that's my brother before this. And that's going to be my brother. I was scared because like when you real cool with a person, you got to be careful.
Yes.
You don't want to ruin the friendship. But it kind of works out. He's kind of like, he's the very strategic. I'm strategic too, but he's like very careful.
Yeah.
I grew up in a gambling spot, so I'm the risk taker.
Yeah, of course.
So we balance
each other
out.
out. You definitely need to balance.
And it's tough. I got friends that I grew up with. I can't do this with because
you can't.
they were like, okay, yo, Rock, isn't he show Tuesday? They're turning this shit into a gambling spot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta
have that. You gotta have that balance.
It's the
You put out
balance.
there, and then we come back. Oh, nah, we can't really do that. Oh, look, this is what
Yeah,
we
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Let's
And-
take this risk, and we meet each
Exactly.
other halfway. So
Exactly.
you gotta find that because you'll go like a lot of people like they'll go into a business with somebody they don't really know.
Right.
How much you got? I got 50,000. You got 50,000. Let's do it. I just met you last week.
You don't know their work ethic. You don't know their tendency.
And
They
then
be
you,
frugal,
I
they
can't
could be-
stand this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yo, I can't stand this
You stuck with them. You just did a 5-year lease on this
You
business.
stuck with them. You
done.
stuck with them, and that's why like black people, the narrative has to change. The people have to work together because the mindset, like you can't change people's mindset.
Right.
Like you can't change and play a game in the ninth inning. So if this is how you are, this is how you are. But you gotta want this. You gotta go out there and be like, you know what, this is my baby. You see people splitting up, even groups, even the best of groups, just breaking up, and they're like, yo, what happened? Like what went wrong? You don't know because everybody's personality, the egos get in the way. People start clashing and they collide. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't do certain things with certain people. I know that.
Exactly.
You gotta know your limits and your boundaries.
Right. Because I'm aggressive. Even when, you see my shirt is fly, right?
Absolutely.
Who did the
Appreciate
shirt?
it. I did the shirt.
Right. I'm aggressive.
Yes.
Yo, what up? I got 30 shirts. What's up? What we doing? That's me. I'm the aggressive
Absolutely.
one. I'm the risk taker.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if you don't got a person that's like that, or like just a little bit under you, but it could balance it out, you'll be in business for like 6 months.
I didn't get invited to that barbecue, by the way, but we're gonna talk about that later.
Man, listen. I
He don't want to
agree.
talk about it.
Listen,
He don't want to talk about it.
I agree
I-
100%.
I gotta
Just to
see
say this, my thing with why more
crazy.
people of color don't support each other, I think that it's just been a negative mindset that we have learned over the years, and it goes into the last question. I think that we have been taught, like, my last question is why do so many people think that when they shop black owned that it should be at a discount rate, right? And I have so many people over the last 5 years that come to me and they be like, yo, bro, how much is your shirt? $40? Well, I got 25 or I got 30. But then at the same time, I done hung out out with them and went to the mall with them, and when they get to Louis Vuitton, when they get to Fendi, when they get to these expensive name brands, they not telling the dude at the cashier like, yo, I only got 11. They paying the 13 or the 15 or whatever, and they leaving out that store with pride.
But let me speak on this, and I'm not talking about you.
Yes.
I'm not talking about. Let it be. I'm not talking about K. But I'm a black business owner, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say when my client comes to me and say, they know in their contract, because we do 6-month lease, the rent is on the first.
Yeah.
They come to me and say, yo, listen, I only got such and such here. That hurts the black business. It hurt, and I do hold my clients that have a business to a higher standards because they know.
They know. Yeah.
They know better.
They know that.
So like when you tell me things like that, or we do a 6-month lease and you use the friend card, like yo, listen, I know I did a 6-month lease, but I need a break. The kids acting up in September. I lost 3 shows this month because of school starting. Would you have done that if you did a 6-month league with a white person in Midtown?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That means you know somebody. That's why the best time is somebody you don't know.
Right.
That's the best business.
Right, and I'm torn. I actually, it's possible that I want to scrap half of the roster and go with straight strangers.
Just go strangers.
You know what I'm saying? So to the point now, we're looking for a manager that don't know none of us. So when it's time to collect the rent, don't call me.
Don't know nobody.
Pay them.
Don't know nobody.
And we take advantage of each other, and it's not cool.
I understand. I think that it all goes back into it being intentional, so you understand it. And don't get me wrong, the way business works, I done had hella friends where I gave a discount rate to on my t-shirts or where I show love, and it's because they consistently do business with me and I try to show favor to them. But then I've had friends that haven't bought a shirt, but they want this shirt for $15. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that it has to be intentional in our minds when we're going out to support our businesses, and at the same time, the people that's running these businesses have to make sure that their businesses are efficient, have to make sure that they're selling good product, have to make sure that their customer service is together, have to make sure that they're being respectful.
And that's true too.
You know what I'm saying? Like all of these things matter.
Like a lot of these clothing stores, people come on here and be like, yo, nobody want to buy my clothes, ain't nobody support me. Yo, you gotta put out heat.
It should be trash.
That shit trash. Like I'm saying, like that shit is trash. Yeah. But then you come over here and be like, yo, why ain't nobody supporting me? Ain't nobody? No, that shit is trash, bro.
Yo, but even
and people think they're supposed to buy that shit.
But even let's take the money out. I got a person I know that hit me. It's actually multiple people. This one person in particular, it kind of pissed me off.
Lewis.
It was from Jersey Tech. He was like, yo, my man, I got such. I need you to promote this. I said, yo, I got Wu 50 community. Yo, here's the logo. Promote this. I ain't hear back from him. I didn't ask for the money. Favor for a trade-off.
Favor for a favor.
Nobody, like everybody looking for a handout.
They
like,
looking for a handout.
Promote my shit, but they don't want to promote. Nah, I'm not with it. I'm not with it at all.
And that's why you gotta use your people, because obviously like before y'all had to order at the same time. I had to order from him.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Also, that's why my shit came.
Yeah, your shit.
That's why shit came 3 weeks late.
My shit was.
That's what.
My shit was 2 weeks late. Yeah, he told me. My man told me. I said, yo, that nigga Rock gonna kill you. He was like, yo, I said, yo, what is the barbecue? He said, that shit is today. I said, today?
So he killed
I said, yo, fuck Rock, because he ain't invite me, so I don't care. I said, I hope they don't get shit. Yeah. I swear to God. So, you know, like
it cost me like $1,000 at the joint, but I love him. Yeah. So I still came back.
Yo, I had this conversation with him. I said, yo, Rock ain't fucking with you no more. You done. He said, nah, he came back.
Still came back.
But, you know, like, it goes to show, like, as a people, we gotta, like, you know, because sometimes you do hit snags and you hit, you know, like, different things. Yeah. But as a people, we gotta support each other. Like, I do my ventures. Like, when I do my brunches, like, if we making clothes, and, because I'm headlining everything I do, I'm making sure my man, I don't give a fuck what he gonna do, I'm gonna put it on him. He gonna, like, my last shirts, these shits came out so fire, motherfuckers was like, yo, I need to buy that. I said, this is not for sale, this is something that my man made. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day. So, I'ma always push it to my people. You know what I mean? And that's how it is, like that black economics. It comes back to that, helping out. Just the same thing with you. He said, yo, podcast. I said, nah, we gotta go see Pyro on them. They got this shit.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? My man makes shirts, we gonna go ahead. And you just gotta keep it going.
Keep it going, yeah.
People don't wanna do that.
Right, so even like, I can't, there's no way I can pay him back for bringing me 2.
Yeah.
He got to tell me the 3rd show later.
Yes.
I'm like, yo, what'd you drink? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even value up, but it's just, yo, Thank you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I came here and had the big bottle of Douce for me. I was like,
Big
yo,
bottle.
that's on. And I didn't expect that. I'm just doing that because I know they got a
it's just-
show and they legit and they do right by people.
You just gotta
You know what
keep.
I'm
You
saying?
just gotta keep it going.
It's a fact.
That's all.
I think that just to end this show, I thank y'all for coming on. This has been a wonderful episode. Black economics is not one thing. It's not being a homeowner. It's not running your own business. It's not building your own career. It's a variety of different things, but it just has to be intentional. It's a mindset that you are going to look for black-owned businesses. You're going to make sure that you support businesses that give you what you're asking for, and you're going to make sure you pay it forward, that you pass it on, and that you're going to keep that in your mind, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a person that's making a t-shirt. You're going to make sure that you're doing your best to support people that look like you. I thank y'all for coming on. If you're watching this show tonight, like I said, it just has to be an intentional thought. Go out there, find you a black-owned business, support it. Go out there and open up a black-owned business. Create a quality business where people in your community could come and show you love at. We could do so much more together than we could do apart. I think that that's one of the mindsets that we need to create, that together we are unstoppable. Apart, we are being divided and oppressed. So think about that the next time you think about where you're going to spend your dollar at, or who you're going to support, or who you're going to acknowledge. Keep your people in mind. This was a great episode. I want to thank Lamel. I want to thank Dray for just being the productive, strong men that they are, for being the beautiful parents that they are.
Can I just say one more thing?
Sure.
Because you gave Mel like 5 different accolades. I do want to receive the Care Radio. Actually, I'm a vice president for Don't Forget Me.
Absolutely.
We do Teen Moms, Teen Dads. You know, we got a big show coming. We got a big Christmas party for the homeless families, December 7th. I would love to have a few great men involved.
Yeah.
Actually, a few good men for a while.
No, that was our name. We got to
Yeah,
change
changed it? Okay.
We got the-
Somebody
we got-
had it?
Yeah, somebody got it.
Okay,
The lawyer was like, you got to change it. Yeah,
a
that's
few great men. I would love to have y'all involved.
Yeah.
And like you said, like mind you, the last batch, my man K gave me one shirt. It had like a black on one side, red on the side. What I got over there? 2 big bags.
Yeah.
We gonna do more business.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm never gonna give up on you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And we gonna keep making money together.
I appreciate
doing what we do.
Definitely.
I appreciate you, and like I said, I acknowledge you, and I appreciate you for just creating this opportunity. You are versed in a lot of different
If
things.
it was whack, I wouldn't do it. This shit is hot.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
and it's just good to be around strong brothers that's doing their thing, and not just talking about it, but being about it. This is another episode of Young Gifted and Black. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all soon.